Jennifer Mendyke here with your daily 60 seconds of biblical inspiration for your day. Today I'm going to read from Matthew chapter 5, verses 44 and 45. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. Yesterday we talked about Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, which was spoken by Joseph. And he said that you meant this for evil, but God used it for good. And the reason God was able to use it for good was because Joseph didn't retaliate. He didn't act out against those who had used him poorly. And you have to admit, Joseph was very badly abused. He was sold into slavery by his brothers. He was thrown into prison by his boss. He was ignored by somebody who had profited from him while he was in prison. So he had every reason to be angry, to retaliate against these enemies, especially once he became very, very powerful. He could have had Potiphar or Potiphar's wife thrown in prison. He could have had the butler who forgot about him killed. When his brothers came and asked for food, he could have told them no. He could have thrown them in jail. He could have had them killed because he was the second most powerful man in Egypt at that point. But he knew that God had put him there for a reason. And he knew that retaliating against his enemies, against those who had treated him poorly, who had done bad things to him, who had persecuted him, he knew that if he retaliated against them, then whatever God was holding for him, whatever God was going to use him for, was going to be wasted. He knew that God wanted him to treat them the way they never treated him. He knew that God wanted him to rise above their behavior and treat them as God would have treated them. Love them as God would have loved them. And act like what they did was not an important thing. It was more important that God used him. It was more important that God used him than for him to gain retribution. Because all that would have done would have been to hurt his position too. He would have hurt himself by retaliating against them. So next time somebody is mean to you, next time somebody treats you really badly, the next time somebody persecutes you, remember Joseph. And remember that God wants you to pray for them. God wants you to love them. He wants you to treat them the way he would treat them and the way he treats you when you do bad things. So remember, be godly. Have a wonderful day. God bless. Goodbye.